causing a whole lot of fireworks between two countries, and it's a recent ruling from a federal court in Canada saying that two major political parties are indeed terrorist group. With a strong response coming from the federal government just on Friday, what should the Canadian government do to see how they will indeed normalize ties between two great nations? It's a major one we will be looking at today on the show. With that, I want to quickly welcome you to definitely the Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. My name is Michael Gobadio. You do know Viewpoint is a program that will in every way help to cushion and indeed start off your morning on a great note. And that's what we're always enjoying doing on Atlantic TV. And today will be no different from a rundown of all we'll love to do on Viewpoint. And you also do know that today is the second day in the celebration of the fourth coronation of His Majesty, and I'm talking of no other person but Ogiame Atuashe III CFR. And today we'll be having a whole lot to do.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Michael, for that. Today we are starting with the commissioning of the hospital at Ubangwe, and that will be by 10 a.m. And know that all of these activities will be live here on Atlantic Media and TV. So if you're not following us on our social media platforms, please endeavor to do that on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. And you can also watch all the live moments on AVO TV. And the second activity for today is the Ishekiri language competition for children, and that will be happening by 12 noon today. You don't want to miss that. And by 4 p.m., women will be on the field playing football. That will be by 4 p.m. today at the Palace Field. And by 4:30 p.m., All-Stars football match. I know you don't want to miss that. You will see all stars playing football. I know you for sure you don't want to miss that. Yes, I am Mercy Irabo, and this is Viewpoint. We will be right back for the papers. Let's go on a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor AD.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
In the glorious land of Warri Kingdom, history meets heritage and tradition embraces transformation. Join us in celebrating the 4th coronation anniversary of His Majesty Ogiame Atuashe III, CFR, the Olu of Warri, from Monday 18th of August to Sunday 24th of August 2025. Day 1 kicks off with praise and worship at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri by 12 noon. Day 2 features hospital commissioning at Ubangwe, Warri, 10 a.m. Ishekiri language competition for children at Agofen, Warri, 12 noon. Women's football match, 4 p.m. All-Stars football match at the Palace Field, 4:30 p.m. Day 3, a royal boat ride to Ode Ishekiri, 10 a.m. Homage paying at Big Warri Palace, 12 noon. His Majesty departs Big Warri, 3 p.m. Day 4, the anniversary celebration and homage paying at Agofen, Warri by 11 a.m. Day 5 brings book launch, 10:30 a.m. More homage paying at Agofen, 11:30 a.m. Drama presentations at Agofen, Warri, 4:30 p.m. Day 6 features the Royal Order of Iwere Awards, 10 a.m. Special lecture at Agofen, 11 a.m. Youth activities, 12:30 p.m. Royal Choir performance, 5 p.m. Day 7, the celebration concludes with a heartfelt Thanksgiving service at 10 a.m. at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri. Join us as we honor 4 impactful years of visionary leadership. Brought to you by Uge Oyo Ekoro TV.
Welcome back. And like we said, the papers is where we're going next on Viewpoint. And on the dailies this morning, we have 4 papers for review. We have The Punch, we have The Vanguard, The Nation, and The Guardian is definitely here with us to look at. But for us to start, let's quickly start with The Punch and see what The Punch has as a major one on its leading story. And on The Punch, the usual puncher, the federal government mauls pay rise for political office holders is a screamer on the front page of The Punch this morning, with RMAFC says Tinubu 1.5 million naira salary and ministers under 1 million pay low, launches a revenue sharing review. But I'll tell you to review that story on page 2 of The Punch. Let's quickly see if we take other leading stories also on the front page of The Punch. And the top, customs issue 14-day deadline to seize 905 overtime cargoes. And, well, you can get that story on page 22 of The Punch. Crisis alerts. UNICEF seeks life-saving 240 billion for Nigerian aid project. And page 3 seems to have that story. Fubara eyes September 18 comeback as IBAS pushes project completion. Well, you can read that story and complete it on page 3 of The Punch. Alafin blasts Oni in fury, clash over chieftaincy title. And that story is making the rounds on page 5 of The Punch. But let's see if we take some other major stories still on the front page of The Punch. The bottom-most part of The Punch. Pencon blacklists 7 mortgage banks over housing loan breach. And breach more of that story on page 9 of The Punch. 2 motorcyclists remanded for alleged raping Ondo teenager. Quite sad and disturbing story. Definitely we'll be taking a critical look at that later, but I'll just tell you to take that story on page 4 of The Punch. Oshun Gate battles to the General of the Federation over seized fund, suit transfer. And well, that story is making a round on page 29 of The Punch. Well, the picture of the day and a story that you can also read on page 2 of The Punch is global leaders begin high-stakes talks to end Russia-Ukraine war. And honestly, I feel it's overdue, and let's see how that can make any meaningful gain and the war comes to an end. But anyway, that's much you can take from The Punch.
All right, let's quickly look at The Guardian. And the major story here says new licensing charges on settled port operators, 3.5 trillion naira investments. Well, you can read that on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. And to the top mass of The Guardian newspaper, Osun local government workers allege bids to hijack council funds. You can see that on page 7 of The Guardian newspaper. Still on the top mass, presidential ticket, we are under pressure to zone, says ADC. You can read that on page 3 of The Guardian newspaper. Overtime imports, import cargoes worth 12.3 billion naira lying idle at ports. You can read that on page 3 of The Guardian newspaper. And still on the front page of The Guardian newspaper, let's look at the bottom mass. It says APC, PDP, NNPP kick alleged fraud in Oyo, Kaduna, Kano by elections. You can read that on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. US, UK commend Nigeria for arresting terrorist leaders. Well, you can read that on page 5 of The Guardian newspaper. Still on The Guardian newspaper, my journey to the throne bumpy but guided by God, says Ladoja. You can read that on page 2 of The Guardian newspaper. And that's all we will be taking on The Guardian for today. Still on the dailies, let's quickly check The Nation. And the sub-story on The Nation says, UK OKs Tinubu's reforms pledges stronger trade ties. Well, you can read that on page 6 of The Nation newspaper. And still on the front page, capturing of most wanted terrorists excites US, Britain. You can read that on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. And to the top mass of The Guardian newspaper, it says, RMAFCE targets year-end for revenue allocation review. You can read that on page 2 of The Nation newspaper. Still on the top mass says, food security takes center stage at First Bank's Exports Conference. Is a new constitution realistic? That's the rider to the story. And you can read that on page 8 of the Nation newspaper. And to the bottom mass, it says, Umai explains state of Carter, third mainland bridges. Well, you can read that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. And for our picture of the day, we can see Tinubu on a foreign trip. Yeah, that's all we will be taking on the Nation newspaper today.
Well, the last paper for review will definitely be the Vanguard. Remember, we told you we had 4 papers. And the leading story on the Vanguard. Federal government vows equal response as U.S. tightens visa rules. And, well, the embassy now requires a 5-year social media history for visa application as the U.S. government revokes a 6,000 students visa and inter-agency meeting to fashion out federal government response. And I'll just tell you to get more of that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's quickly see major stories still at the top mass of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Revenue Commission begin fresh allocation formula. The read up of more of that formula on page 19 of the Vanguard. 2.2 million poor household to receive federal government's cash transfer. Well, anyway, I don't know whether I will join them. But anyway, page 8 is having that story, and this according to the minister. NGE raises alarm over economy, insecurity, and media suppression. Is more of that story on 8. And U.S. Britain government, Norton Khan, Lord's federal government NSA over arrest of terror kingpins. And that story is making the round on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's see if we get some other major stories. And good, the by-elections violence. Police persecute 333 thugs and government officials in Kano. Arrest 10 others in Ogun. And violence confirms Canadian court verdict, says Falana. Remember, I'll be looking at that story later on the dialogue. And I'll just tell you to look up that story on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. 2027, Atiku, Obi, Amechi will stay united without presidential ticket. This coming from the ADC. And page 8 has more of that story. U.S. pledges support for Kyiv amid Russia-Ukraine peace talks. It's a major one on page 9 as they try to see if they will end that very unnecessary war that lingered for so long. Isese Day, August 20th, declared public holidays in major states in the southwest, Ogun, Oyo, Oshun, and Lagos. And page 10 has that story. But what's also a screamer on page 10 is that of a paternity crisis. 1 in 4 Nigerian fathers not biological parents, says the report. Now you say, the children will not say, Dada, Oyoyo. But anyway, let's see, the picture of the day is that of a foreign visit of our president. And you know, he made the round yesterday. Well, definitely is a major one. He went to Japan. Well, anyway, that's the picture of the day right there on the Vanguard newspaper. And well, that's wrapped things up on the papers. But anyway, we'll always implore you to also ensure that you go get the dailies and read them up and see some major headlines there. But anyway, we're still right here in the studio, and one that's more of a screamer for me is that on the Punch, which says, well, we're talking about rape, which is indeed a sad tale, a mercy. Yeah. And we had 2 motorists, or motorcyclists, rather, remanded for alleged raping Ondo teenager. I don't know, when will people learn that rape indeed is a crime that takes either life sentence or death? In some countries, I do know, in the Middle East, rape takes nothing but death. But I wonder why people will still be indulging in such unnecessary vices.
Like, I don't even know. Most times, I try not to talk much when it comes to rape. Yeah. And that's because I don't get it. Yeah. Like, you have adults that are willing to just give you their own, like willingly accept your proposal in that aspect, but you decide to go for a child, an underage. Like, it's worrisome. I wonder if this person's, but most times I feel these people, they're just built that way. I don't know if it's a spiritual problem, I just feel they're built that way because I don't see anything that looks enticing in the body of a child.
And honestly, when they come to court, I doubt if the judge will listen to any spiritual attack, and that's why they did so. But it's quite sad, and I feel the government of the day should do more to ensure that issues of rape should be handled with severe consequences, especially many are already advocating for the death penalty, and they feel the life sentence or a lengthy one has not really in any way curbed the incidence of rape, especially as it concerns minors. But anyway, that's not a minor gist. Let's look at another that's correlated, and that's on the Vanguard newspaper. And it says a paternity crisis, 1 in 4 fathers not biological parents. And this is according to a report. Well, it's a sad one, and many fathers are already screaming to the high heavens. And all of this came out as a result of we having to do more of a DNA test, and how it seems to be revealing a whole lot, especially as it concerns some biological father. But the sad tale is that many will feel, as being Africans, the issue of cheating, especially as it concerns the women, is minimal compared to other countries. But it's beginning to sound as if it's taking a very ugly turn as it concerns married women cheating on their husbands.
Okay, so a friend of mine one time said that that he doesn't even know, or he doesn't even see reasons to do DNA. That the fact that why should you go to search for something that will hurt you at the end of the day?
Wow.
So it's better you don't even know, you don't find out.
Wow.
And secondly, if you find out eventually, that you should just accept the fact that this has happened. Imagine a child that you've been with for long and all of that, then you're just willing to let that child go because of DNA. I don't know, this is me just saying that I don't know why these women do these things, but I feel things will just fall back in place if the men just decide to let things lie.
I'm not surprised Messi seems to be taking the line of the women, and no surprise about that. But anyway, it's indeed a sad one, and one that seems to be on the increase, especially according to that very report, insisting that, well, it looks as if we're having more tales of paternity issues, especially as it concerns fathers not fathering the children that normally they would have, and others are just taking a cue, taking care of children that they are not really biological parents of. Well, a sad tale.
Yeah, that's sad. Well, let's quickly go to the Punch.
Okay.
I think the major story here says federal government must pay raise for political office holders. That's very funny. Like, okay, I think somebody said the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Why are you enriching the rich, the pockets of the rich? You want to add more to it. I think during was it the NSAS protest or what, that youths came out to say the Senates are receiving this, they're receiving that, money that can be used for the country. And now you're thinking of even increasing. Do you know how much most of these people get for just accommodation allowance, sitting allowance, and all of that? And you still want to increase it. I don't understand federal government. What exactly are your priorities?
Well, anyway, the priority is more of the Revenue Mobilization and the Fiscal Commission, insisting that about the present basic annual salary, monthly salary is 1.5 million. And that for ministers is 1 million. And what they are saying is that they feel the recent hike in things and the way things are being played out now, they feel that the salaries of Mr. President and other public officials should increase. But the question still remains, if you're increasing that of political office holders who were elected on account of Nigerians, then what is the tale for ordinary Nigerians, especially knowing that a professor earns nothing less than 350,000 a month? Would it be fair, knowing that these academians that have spent many part of their life trying to advance humanity will be receiving that less, while political office holders who will just do 4 years and end up having nothing but a lengthy and a well-packaged outgoing salaries and all of that entitlement will be paid more? And we also do know that, well, many kickbacks are coming. I didn't say so, but the records are there, and it's really a sad tale, Messi.
These are the same persons that were having issues even to sign 70K, 70,000 naira as minimum wage, and they are complaining. Yes, for Nigeria. And the labor, was it the Labor Congress came out to say the prices of things are high and all of that. Even 70,000 naira will not be enough, but they still insisted on 70,000 naira. And now you're saying 1 million naira is not enough because things are on the high side. The same thing the Labor Congress complained about, that they did nothing. Well, I don't know. I just feel
well, anyway, it's a major one and an issue that I feel the federal government also needs to look at, especially as the TEND, or the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission, wants to increase the salaries of official public office holders. But another major one still on the front page, and that will be on the Vanguard, is that the federal government vows equal response as U.S. tightens visa rule, and is already making some Nigerians feel a bit edgy, knowing that if Nigeria retaliates with what the United States government has said, that they will increase, or rather tighten the news around application for visas, well, it's going to be more of we hurting ourselves at the end. We cannot, and many Nigerians will definitely not be happy if the federal government comes up with that 5 years plan of looking at the history of social media history of these persons that will be applying for visa. How many Americans are applying for visa to come to Nigeria? Is a question. And like we seek, the federal government, especially Mr. President, have been traveling around the world seeking for foreign investment. Our foreign direct inflow has fallen down in the last 5 years and is still falling, but seeking to have more foreign direct inflow, and you're now putting a restriction on these persons that might be willing to come invest in your country by applying for visa will not be the best way to go. And it will indeed be hurtful to a whole lot of Nigerians that are already seeking greener pastures overseas. And we do know the United States economy is still #1 as it concerns the world economy. So I feel the federal government should have a rethink. So at the end, at least Messi can also travel when the time comes.
The truth is, I don't even have issues with giving them my social media handles and all of that. And I don't know why it's supposed to be an issue. It's not supposed to be an issue. It's not a big deal, is it? To just, I don't know, maybe people do stuff that they're not supposed to do on social media, because if they request to see, even from the day I was born, I'm willing to give it out freely.
Messi is willing to give it out, but I'll plead with the federal government to have a rethink. We do not need to have a restriction, especially as it concerns the United States citizens wanting to come to Nigeria. Let's see how we can just pipe up and see how they can resolve both of the issues. I'm talking about the federal government and that of the United States of America. But another major story making the round is the recent arrest of 2 terror kingpins. And indeed, it is no surprise that the international community is applauding Nigeria for that very move. And it's also making a round on some of the major headlines on the dailies. Like we do know, the Christian Organization of Nigeria is really excited about that, knowing that the Ansaru terrorist network has killed a whole lot of Christians and indeed bombed a whole lot of churches. With the recent attack, or rather arrest, of these 2 major terrorist kingpins, Nigeria is already winning the battle against terrorism and insurgency, and it's one that everybody is already applauding them, especially the international community. And because of that, I feel the international community will also be willing to work with us to see how we can put an end to extremism in the country, and one that's quite laudable. Don't you think so, Messi?
Yeah, that's a big win for Nigeria, at least something good after all. So it's a big win for Nigeria, and I'm super proud. At this moment, I am proud to be called a Nigerian.
Well, anyway, if Messi is proud to be called a Nigerian, I'm more happy to be called a citizen of this great nation. But let's see another major story on the front page of the Vanguard, rather the Nation. UK's Tinubu reforms pledges stronger trade ties. Well, that for me, that's the best way to go. Let's see how we can bridge fence and mend fences, especially as it concerns some of our major partners on the issue of not just only security, but the issue of trade. I feel we need, just like I said initially, we need some more foreign direct inflow, and having major economies, top 7 economies invest in the country will do a whole lot to create more job opportunities, create more employment for Nigerians, and indeed ease on our foreign reserve, and we honestly would love the federal government to really go through with that very plan, especially as the UK government sees how they can really do more as it concerns trade. But we do also know that our export to some major European countries seem not to be on the rise, especially only we know crude oil and some others are just what we export out. But if we are going to indeed balance the trade imbalance that seems to be, we still need more export to the United Kingdom and other European countries. I feel that will in every way help to stabilize the economy. But talking about stabilizing it, you do know we're almost out of time and we need to go on a break. Yeah.
Let's quickly talk on the Guardian.
Okay.
There's this major story, new licensing charges on set support operators,
Yes.
3.5 trillion naira investments. So I feel they introduced this new policy, this new charge, and the stakeholders are warning that this will scare away potential clients,
Yes.
but the federal government insists that it's a means to generate revenue. Well, I don't know, is this actually a means to boost our economy, or it will actually cause a setback in the economy?
Well, it will certainly cause a setback, because we also do know that most of the goods coming into Nigeria are not from Nigerian ports.
Yeah.
They are basically that of our neighbors, Benin to be precise. Ghana is also gaining in on imports coming into Nigeria. So I feel the federal government should have a rethink on this. I feel they should subpedal, knowing that also in the papers, in that very Guardian, we have about 12.1 billion naira worth of goods that are not even cleared.
Exactly.
And yet you're now putting more restriction on our ports. I feel it's not the best way to go. And the federal government should please have a rethink. Let them see how they can also increase our port. But I know all of these are measures to limit our import of goods. And we should be thinking of more exporting and creating jobs here rather than importing or creating jobs overseas and taking the jobs off our shores. But as it stands now, I feel the federal government should just have a rethink. Let them see how they can soft pedal on that and at least bring the jobs back home, but also make our ports fluent and to have more people want to do business on our ports and indeed raise our revenue. That would be very nice for them to do. But just like I said, that's the much we can do on the paper review. Remember, in less than 5 minutes time, the dialogue will be on. And on the dialogue, like I initially said, we'll be talking about that a recent visa restriction and tag of two major political parties that they are terrorist organizations. What should the federal government do to indeed remove Nigeria from such bad light? And should the Canadian government go ahead? Well, all of that will come on dialogue. But for now, let's go on a break, and that will be next on of Viewpoint right here on Atlantic TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Olúrọ̀mí o, ìràwọ̀ bàbá mi jẹ́.
In the glorious land of Warri Kingdom, history meets heritage and tradition embraces transformation. Join us in celebrating the 4th coronation anniversary of His Majesty Ogiame Atuashe III, CFR, the Olu of Warri, from Monday 18th of August to Sunday 24th of August 2025. Day 1 kicks off with praise and worship at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri by 12 noon. Day 2 features hospital commissioning at Ugbangwe, Warri, 10 a.m. Ishekiri language competition for children at Agofen, Warri, 12 noon. Women's football match, 4 p.m. All-Stars football match at the Palace Field, 4:30 p.m. Day 3, a royal boat ride to Ode Ishekiri, 10 a.m. Homage paying at Big Warri Palace, 12 noon. His Majesty departs Big Warri, 3 p.m. Day 4, the anniversary celebration and homage paying at Agofen, Warri by 11 a.m. Day 5 brings book launch, 10:30 a.m. More homage paying at Agofen, 11:30 a.m. Drama presentations at Agofen, Warri, 4:30 p.m. Day 6 features the Royal Order of Iwere Awards, 10 a.m. Special lecture at Agofen, 11 a.m. Youth activities, 12:30 p.m. Royal Choir performance, 5 p.m. Day 7, the celebration concludes with a heartfelt Thanksgiving service at 10 a.m. at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri. Join us as we honor 4 impactful years of visionary leadership. Brought to you by Uge Oyo Ekoro TV.
Ara lóríire, ọlọ́ríire ọ̀fọ̀ máa sí olúromi o, ọ̀wẹ́ náà gé.
Mommy Dama, Daddy Dama. This is how we greet in our place. It is a way of respect, a long-age tradition, carried through generations like sacred fire. Our coronation celebration is around the corner, so close, we can feel the drum beats in the wind, and there is no more time to keep checking time. So the sons and daughters of Iwere, both at home and in diaspora, comfort, put on the full regalia, adore yourself in pride, and walk in the step of our ancestors. Let us observe a longish culture together, so deep, so bright, that even whites could not help but reverence. And Edidioka, then Barajo, do not say we did not know, we did not hear, neither were we informed. Put aside the grieving, because no matter what, we are same history, same tongues that cannot be taken away, except that door's path. Ishekiri and Kuro, our monarch awaits us. For God sought man to incarnate and to lead his people. And he found none but thee, the one who understands the assignment. To the extent the dexterity you deploy to administer the territory attracted principalities and powers, yet you warned by Isaiah 7:7. The traditional king that forfeit godly scriptures. Your ways are not the ways of man, even as we exist as man. The one who takes giant steps in David's raiment. You are the clear proof we had first-hand connection with civilization. Daddy with maximum steez and composure. We do not need to pat your back and scoop your tummy before you do us good. Because truly you have now made goodness our inheritance. And everybody give thanks. You may have been ignored, left alone to tend the flocks. But I tell you truth, it was God's strategy for you to cater for his flocks. Oh, how did we not know at first that a change will seek and desire? Lurks around us like a friend that sticks closer than a brother. He who resonates history before our face, giving us the hope of a prosperous phase. It is time. 4 years crowned in glory, 4 years seed in destiny. Ogiame, King of the waters. It is your 4th-year coronation anniversary, and everybody is Ogboru.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
The federal government has called on the Canadian authorities to immediately retract what it described as erroneous designation of some political parties in Nigeria as terrorist organizations. In a statement by the spokesperson, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kemibi Imamotimi, in Abuja on Friday, warned that the action could be misconstrued as endorsing politically motivated narrative against Nigeria. This follows a recent ruling of the Canadian Federal Court upheld by Justice Ngo, categorizing Nigeria's ruling political party, that is the All Progressive Congress, and the main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, as terrorist organization. The declaration was made in pursuance of a case involving a Nigerian, Douglas Igariva, who arrived in Canada in September of 2017 and applied for inland refugee status under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act of Canada. The federal government went further to say that the diplomatic channels remain open for a constructive dialogue and urged the Canadian government to engage with the relevant Nigerian institution to rectify this error. But the talking point on the dialogue today is what will be the implication of such ruling on the country on a long term, and what better way should the federal government act to resolve this issue? Well, these and more will take a center stage on the dialogue on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV today. And that is Canada and the designation of 2 major political parties in Nigeria as terrorist organizations. And that is what we're having as a major one today on the dialogue. We'll be looking at that Canadian designation of 2 major political parties as terrorist organizations and the application of what that seems to be. But anyway, you do know on Dialogue and Viewpoint, we always enjoy having critical stakeholders also react to such of the majors, and today will be no different from it. And thus I have a guest in the studio, and he's no other person but Comrade Kevin Ojomodo. I like putting a comrade to it because, well, he's also for the defense of human rights, and also he's a special assistant to the Delta State government. And well, anyway, nice to have you on the show. Comrade Jomodo, welcome to the show. Welcome to Atlantic TV.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ray, and thank you for having me. Good morning, esteemed viewers and listeners.
Now, I'm really concerned, and I'm a bit curious to get your reaction as it concerns this very ruling, because Since this ruling came up, it has been fireworks between the federal government and the Canadian authorities. But like I said, I'm a bit curious to get your reaction to this ruling and the unfolding drama that seems to be. What's your reaction to this very ruling from the Canadian federal court saying that the APC and the PDP are terrorist organizations?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ray. First, before I answer your questions, I would like to first of all congratulate His Royal Majesty, Ogiami Atuache, the Thor, the Olu of the Great Warri Kingdom, on his coronation anniversary. Long may you reign, great king. And we've seen a lot of peace in your reign in the Delta State as well, the Shekiri nationality, and the host of other neighboring communities and also kingdoms living in peace and harmony with the palace. We commend you, sir. Thank you very much. Having said that, I also like to say happy Humanitarian Day, International Humanitarian Day to our frontline activists, our humanitarian aides across board. Against the orders and the risk involved, we risk our lives to ensure that we serve humanity in the best way we can. And calling also for a ceasefire in the war between Gaza and Israel, and to allow for aid to get to citizens, because a lot of the children there and women, they are falling to malnutrition and hunger, which hitherto is not good for the global best practice, and also the war between Ukraine and Russia on a ceasefire. Thank you very much. Having said that, the ruling from the Canadian High Court is a national disgrace to our nation. And it came to me as a shock, because personally, these are the two key players in the Nigerian political space in terms of political party. The PDP had been in power from 1999, before the APC came in and President Jonathan was yes. And in all of this, it has shown two major issues. One, that the global community is watching the Nigerian political space and seeing daily the treatment of our political elite to the populace and also to other party members as well. Now you can imagine someone who has served in PDP, you left PDP to APC, you travel to Canada, rather than going into the legitimate business or whatever you want to do there, you are seeking asylum there, trying to bring the image of your country to disrepute because you want an asylum in a country that is well funded, well guided by the rule of law and principles of separation of powers, a country that is well governed, where citizens' welfare is paramount. After damaging your own country, you joined the PDP in 2007, Mr. Douglas, and you left PDP to APC, and today you are going to seek for greener pasture in a country where the institutions of government are stronger than those even in government. It's a national disgrace. And I think the response we've gotten from our federal government is good. We must tell them our own story, not them writing a story for us. But however, with the continuous killings that we've witnessed from 1999 in the electoral crisis, the APC also came in. We've seen killings of Christians, killings of non-Christians. You know, it calls for concern. Every sovereign country will be concerned that how can citizens be killed in their multitudes, and you've not done anything about it. That's why they ascribe them as a terrorist organization.
Comrade Kevin, I will need to plead with you to hold on, because as much as we progress in our discussion, it's also good we state the facts. Yes. And stating the fact is looking at that very ruling. And the big question still remains, was this ruling in order? Let's put the facts on the table and look at it. And because right here on Dialogue, what we do on Atlantic TV, on Viewpoint, is we really dive straight into the issues. And because of that, we went further to investigate Canadian law, to see whether that ruling, because the federal government yesterday came out to say that ruling is not in order, or rather on Friday came out to say that ruling is not in order, and the government of Canada should do more to see how they can retract that very ruling because they feel it's ill and it's not the right thing to do. But let's look at the Canadian law. Now, we studied the Canada law and found out that under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, terrorism includes, as they stated, orchestrated acts that intimidate the public, destabilize institution, coerce political outcome, and by any means, associates of such are entity whether they participate or not, but being associated with all of these are indeed terrorist organization, and hence they should also be part of the problem, undermining. Maybe they've just been a political party member for a big time, but according to the law of Canada, they feel all of that amounts to terrorism. So let's look at that very law, the Canadian law. Do you feel this law is in order? Because the government is saying, the federal government is saying it is wrong, and I just heard you said that, well, anyway, it's a bit too harsh. But these are the laws of Canada, and that ruling followed these laws.
Yes. Going by the laws of Canada you just read now, they are refugee law and all of that.
Yes.
You agree with me that all that is stated there,
yes,
has happened in the Nigerian soil.
So the ruling is in order.
The ruling is in order by the Canadian
standard.
Yeah. But coming to the Nigerian soil, you will not use the crime of few individuals to blacklist an entire organization as a terrorist organization.
Okay.
We know over the years we've seen the docile nature of some of our political elites.
Okay.
That even when these killings happen, they turn deaf ear. They do not even show concern and empathy to the masses. So for that reason, under the Canadian law, it depicts wholly that they are all accomplices.
Okay.
Because they feel if really a thing of such is happening in your party and you are a member of the political party, why don't you raise an alarm? Why don't you call for urgent attention to be given to such matters where human life are being threatened? We've seen election thuggery, talks go about destroying other people's vehicles, destroying other people's properties, and nobody has been brought to book. So they keep watching us. Are we politically all right as the people? What value do we have? I keep saying that the value placed for human life will determine how the world will take you.
Most certainly.
The other time an American citizen was kidnapped in Niger State, the American soldiers flew into Nigerian soil to rescue the man, took him back. That shows the commitment of a nation. Today we see killings in Benue. The people are crying out loud. The president has given a marching order, but nothing has been done to this very moment. So the world keep looking at us. Are these people, are they morally, are they politically sound? Hence, the ruling from the Canadian government is in order.
Okay, now
according to their law.
No, according to their law, you said the ruling is in order.
Yes.
But according to our own findings, there was no representative of both of these political parties that were invited to give their own account. So would it be right that the Canadian government would go ahead and give a ruling when political parties' representatives were absent? Does it make any sense? We're talking about the rule of law. We're talking about what seems to be right. Is that right to give a ruling in the absence of a man? You're just shaving his head when he's not there. Does that make any sense?
It does make a whole lot of sense because one, a Nigerian took the matter there.
But should they not have also invited representatives from these two major political parties to also give their own side of the story before tagging them this?
It all depends on their own legal process.
Okay.
Ideally, in the law, there's need for fair hearing.
Yes.
He that alleged must assert. And when you assert beyond reasonable doubt and reasonable grounds with your evidence vis-a-vis be brought before the court to push your case through. But perhaps in the Canadian law, they have their records. You see, the US, they brought a list yesterday that before you get a visa now to the US, they want to see your 5 years Facebook profiling.
Yes.
So they want to know what you support, what you stand for. Are you for humanity or are you against humanity? So they will know that, okay, give me a visa to the US, we either map or make the process simply.
Okay.
So I think, based on the Canadian law, they have their own procedures. So maybe the fact brought before them, because in Nigeria, Mr. Douglas went there and said he's seeking for asylum. Now he has belonged to PDP, has belonged to APC. So they now check the records. From 1999 to date, looking at two major, okay, why didn't they call other political parties? Because they look at the two major key players who have been constituting issues in the national space. There are other parties there, they didn't mention them. But they look at from when democracy took in, 1999, it was PDP. Till when they hand over power to APC. So they look at this whole narrative and these issues brought before them. They have their, like you saw the ruling now, Justice Ungo said, there are a lot of issues from electoral violence, killings, and all of that. Those were the issues they've been documenting, and they brought out their judgment.
Okay, I'm still a bit concerned about that very ruling. And will it be right to just give a sweeping order on two major political parties that have produced 3 presidents in this country? Why is it not? Why put the whole membership of the party under the boss when normally it would have just been you addressing this very individual, Mr. Douglas, that the case is all against? So why I now have to add his political parties into it? Would it make any sense? Because come on, sweeping allegations against 2 major political parties rather than just dealing with this individual that you feel has erred. So why put that all over these major political parties rather than picking those Mr. Douglas and sending him out and giving that judgment?
That's why, in retrospect, I made it clear that an organization cannot just go into crime entirely. You cannot just get an organization that everybody is a criminal in the organization,
yes,
and it's a political party that's registered.
But that's what this court is saying.
That's what the court said, and that's why I told you. I said, based on their Canadian law, they must have seen, they must have gathered their evidences. Everything is there before the media space. They see on a daily basis the news flying in from Nigeria. They see the responsiveness and the docile nature of the government to these critical issues. They see how children are being kidnapped, women are being kidnapped, youths are being kidnapped, political rivalries are being kidnapped. They see how some politicians in Nigeria try to play God, demigod, over other persons. And in all of this, they have coined their own judgment. Ideally, it is wrong for them to say, okay, the entire PDP or the entire APC is a terrorist organization. Identify those troublemakers.
Yes.
Those you've identified that these are the major troublemakers in the party,
yes,
that constitute nuisance in the party.
Yes.
Give them a travel ban,
yes,
give them a restriction ban, not to fly into any European country or perhaps into Canada, then so that others cannot learn and be a better
would that not have been the ideal thing to do? Because what I'm asking now, we're saying this, I could still remember that even the obedient movement that many talked about, Peter Obi was a member, a serving governor.
Yes.
Under the PDP, yes, was once a vice presidential candidate under the PDP.
Yes.
We've had notable Nigerians that stood out different in how they handle elections and what they said. So why not add them to a bunch of those that you feel have erred? That's where my question lies.
Okay, that's why I said ideally they ought to have identified those troublemakers. We know them also, we from Nigerian soil, we know, yes, our troublemakers in our political party. We know those who go about inciting violence, trying to use ethnic lines and religious lines to cause chaos in the country, to disrupt the political processes. We see those who have used this threatening language on other ethnic groups. But at the end of this, the government of the day have played docile. Like we once give it to Goodluck Jonathan. In his time, rather than going to violence, it should be part of peace.
Okay.
And today he's one of the peace ambassadors globally. That's what I reckon with. So and at that time he was the president under PDP.
Okay.
So giving the entire party as a terrorist organization doesn't befit well, doesn't tell well. They should have identified those troublemakers in the parties, yeah, and give them a travel ban and restriction to Canada, and call on their allies, other European countries, that they have bilateral relations to do same. That way they will not serve as a deterrent to our political leaders. But this also shows that we have work to do. Now they prescribe you as a terrorist organization. What do? Change the narrative for good. Sell your party and your candidate to the world to say we are peace-loving people. We don't involve in violence. If an election is won discreetly, we take it. Look at the election in the US. Nobody went to court. Trump won, and congratulations, and it's spill over. But in Nigeria, you see the Western class money, you go to court, you go to High Court, you go to Tribunal, you go to High Court, you go to Supreme Court, you go to and all of that, because you just want to man the process. And some politicians will boastfully and tell you, if you are not satisfied with the result, you go to court yourself. Because they know the judiciary has been bought over. I think they will need to even add a judiciary to this list.
Oh, come on.
Because they keep trading they keep trading our general interest in the order of injustice. So they need to put most of our judiciary in the watch list. If there's a matter before you, do the matter discreetly. Do not for the reason of party affiliations or ethnic sentiment, and you give a miscarriage of justice in the order of justice. We've seen cases whereby there are evidences brought before a court. The court will tell you that on the ground of technicalities and irregularities, glitches and all of that, that's the new normal they use now, that they are glitches. And they will tell you that they are glitches. Usually will tell you that there are not enough evidence in the matter. When the whole issues were laid bare. So I think prescribing the entire PDP and APC and terrorist organization is not good. So the Nigerian ruling party, the APC, and also one of the largest parties in Africa, the PDP, they need to even go to the Canada soil, bring their evidence and say, we want to challenge this ruling.
Okay, anyways, we'll come to solutions or better way to address this. But anyway, in case you're joining us, it's still Dialogue on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. And today we're really looking at that very issue that seems to be brewing. And we're talking about diplomatic row between the Canadian government and that of the federal government of Nigeria. Just on Friday, the federal government came out to tell the Canadian authority to retract that very ruling coming from a high court, or rather a federal high court in Canada, insisting that the two major political parties in the country, we're talking about the People's Democratic Party that was in power from the early time, from 1999, up to about 2015, and that of the current ruling All Progressive Congress are indeed terrorist organization, and what those fireworks seems to be. But anyway, that's not only it. Just yesterday, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, also added his voice to it. And interestingly, I'll just pick what he said. He said that the ruling of a federal court in Canada is right. According to him, he validates that the Canadian court has indeed put all in place to deal with the issue of political parties and how violent they've been, and he feels it is in order that Canadian court had to also put those two major political parties as terrorist organization. That seems to also raise a whole lot of dust coming from the Senior Advocate of Nigeria. But anyway, let's leave what he said and come back to what we're talking about. Like I said, he has added his voice to it, and he feels that very ruling from a federal court in Canada is in order. But let's also look at us dealing with the issues, especially as it concerns politicians. Like I could still remember, in 2003, we had former President Olusegun Obasanjo saying that elections are do or die. And we also had former President Muhammadu Buhari saying that if he lost the election well back in 2007, baboons, the blood will flow. Yes. But anyway, we're not flowing on that note, but rather looking at the issues critically. Now, you made mention of picking out politicians,
yes,
and dealing with them individually,
absolutely,
rather than making it
a general issue.
A general issue. And that brings us to our own context. And I'm talking about the issue of politics. Now, do you feel if the federal government goes ahead to deal with all of these political troublemakers, allow me to put it that way, yes, would it not also raise a whole lot of dust as being, for example, maybe the politician is not in the ruling party at the moment and they go after them? So would that not also raise a whole lot of issue? And in your own best bet, what should be the way to pinpoint these persons to let all those foreign countries know that the present government is not indulge or encouraging such persons to be dealt with without raising a whole lot of political growth in the country itself?
Good. The first way to rebrand this image in the global community, first, you say, they say charity begins at where? At home.
Yes, most certainly.
The ruling party must first of all start from its members, not going after opposition members.
Will it not look over as if it's political wind shot among the among itself?
No, it's within the party.
Okay.
You call a caucus meeting, the APC national chairman, all the governors of serving under the APC, all members, all ward chairmen of the party, call them to a roundtable discourse.
Okay.
And a communique will be issued that going forward, this is the template, this is the direction of our party. Any member who fall within the preview of what has been discussed or what has been agreed upon, yes, will be shown the way out. And you start working with that template. Okay. Then the world will see that, oh, truly they have rebranded themselves, they have rebranded the party, and now the party now stands for people-oriented party, and not under egocentric, nepotism, or ethnic basis. Yeah. But they now see that it's centered around the people. And if that is done, you see the global community, they will also come and say, rally around us. And that's a great country with great potential of individuals that we have. Now, having said that, when it is done within your own ruling party first as the APC, then they cannot go after other troublemakers in other parties. Because if you don't do your own party, it's going to be a wind shot So okay, I said Mr. Ray does not know how to talk to me. You didn't come for me. But because I said it down, a man from a Labour Party said it, you are going for the man. No. If the man for your party throws a threat at someone, at someone, you go after him and arrest him. Let him be tried in court. Then they will not know that, okay, if his father, like that one was small, if a stranger comes to us, my father first of all beat you like his child. Give you a thorough beating so that the stranger will not know that, oh, if he can beat his own son like this, meaning me that came here for politics, I have to behave myself.
Well, then thank God I never visited the house when you were young. But anyway, don't mind me, go on.
You know, so that will not bring a narrative. People rent a narrative that the world will not say, okay, because this thing didn't come up today. They've been watching us. Yeah. Just like you see, as a Nigerian, you get to the airport, now you get to your country, they start putting you on red alert. Because they don't know what you are up to. And in time past, it was never like this. People see Nigerians, we are great people, we have potential. Anywhere we travel to, as a Nigerian, just say you are from Nigeria, they say, come. Come and tell us, that's your country. We want to make friends with you. But today, the minute you say you are a Nigerian, they start looking at you in one kind of way. There's even some Nigerians in diaspora, they will tell you they're not from Nigeria. They'll tell you maybe they're from Cameroon. They'll tell you they're from one neighboring African country. Because if you just say you're a Nigerian, they put the security light, everything is on you. So we must begin to rewrite our own story. Not people writing it for us. We must write our own story. Tell the world that we are not a hostile people. We are not violent people. We are receptive. We have fundamental human rights. We respect fundamental, because they've seen it over the years that we don't respect fundamental human rights. We don't obey court orders. And when the country begins to work in this misnomer, it leads to anarchy. And the world is watching us.
Okay, well, anyway, Comrade Jomodo, I will plead with you to hold on, because I want us to still remain with the issue of politics and politicians that seems to also be doing this. I want us to now look at the maturity of our political class, because this very individual is a politician, and funny enough, he was seeking for asylum in a foreign country, knowing that he also participated in politics, yes. And some of the things he's looking for there were not present here under political rule. Yes. Now, let's look at the maturity of our politicians and also see if they are also matured enough, if what their actions are also bringing the problem. Because I could still remember in 2014, we had about almost 12 northern governors visiting the United States of America, Washington, D.C. As of then, to say that Boko Haram is not an insurgents group. And funny enough, we know that during that period, it was nothing but anarchy, especially in the northeast, with killings of young persons and bombings being perpetrated by that very terrorist group. And all they were trying to do was to undermine the Jonathan administration. That was a major talking point, especially as it concerns our politicians. So my question, yes, you talked about this is the best way to go, but are our politicians that matured enough to not play politics with every other thing? Because we're already having members of other political parties coming out to say, yes, what the Canadian court did was in order. We heard the ADC, a spokesman came out just yesterday to say, yes, that very ruling from the Canadian court vindicates them to say that this government and previous governments seem not to know what they are doing. So my question, not knowing the implication that this will mean for them also. So my question is, does it make sense that we are playing politics with such weighty matter that will definitely have far-reaching implication on all of us? Does it make any sense?
It's like I said, it's a pain and it's shameful, it's disheartening that we play politics of bitterness in our country. I've never seen an election that goes cold and someone will just come and shake you and say, congratulations, it was a fair one, you won. Yes. Let's do it together. Let's work in synergy.
So our politicians not mature enough?
They are not mature enough. You will hardly see a politician in Nigeria that win an election and bring somebody from the opposition party to come and work with him. When you know the man is coming.
We had Mr. President breaking Wiki into his political fold and also into the executive council.
That was a move of bringing the political juggernaut to play your card for you.
Okay. Well, let's leave that. Just go ahead.
Yes. So in that same vein, if you want to change narrative, we must have politics of less bitterness. That when you lose, you know you've lost, you try again. You compliment the man. And don't just go about because you lose a lecture, everything you talk about the man is violent. You try to incite the people against the man. What this man is saying is wrong. No. Like what Osumole did then in Edo State. When he lost the election to Osumbo, he didn't go violent. He went ahead, he started writing. Yeah. If Osumbo said he spent 10 billion naira to do a road, Osumole will tell you no, this road can be done with 2 billion naira. Okay. And it comes to the fact and figures. And as it was going, the court gave the ruling, Osumole won and came back. So in that same way, we want to see mature politicians whereby if you lose an election, do not go and start recruiting your ethnic nationalities sentiment to say, they said because I'm a Christian, that's why I lost. Or they said because I'm a Muslim, that's why they don't want to vote for me. No! What is people? We are serving the people, not yourself. And it's not a 4 years term, you are out of there. If you do well, you'll be voted for. So the idea of us going to, now the ADC persons, they are blocking PDP and APC, are they not the same? The likes of Tambo and all of that left the party to go and form the ADC, David Mark and all of that, were they not in the PDP before? Were some not also in the APC? So we keep you are refurbishing an old car that still have an old engine, but you spread the body and say it's a new car. But the engine is still the same engine, still weak, and cannot run far. That's what our political elite keeps doing. Now you say you have a coalition, you've done an election now, still sitting there for the by-elections, you won only one. You've not even know your grassroots. So in all of this, it has to do with let the best of our candidates. You know, it's not about dollarizing the political space. Because that has brought us to where we are today. Okay. And there's a big lacuna between the people and the political elite. Before that, you can drive to your constituent and see the person representing you, but today they are all in Abuja. They come only for Christmas. Next thing, they are out again. Before now, you drive to your councillor and ask him, councillor, this transformer they put for the then they work, what do they have? He will give you up-to-date explanation. But today, they form busy. You call someone, they don't even pick calls. You send memo to see them in their offices, they form busy meetings because they are scared of you telling them the truth. And we as watchdog, as activists, we keep challenging the status quo to ensure that these things are done better. Okay. Because we believe if we have, like the money they waste in court for tribunal, for example, it's waste of money. You be there, you go to high court, go to appeal court, go to Supreme Court, waste money, and at the end of the day, they tell you you've lost the election. So why not use those monies to even help humanity? To develop your smaller communities, your smaller spaces. In time past, we know when they will tell you this man I will want. People love you, organic love, they say, this because they've seen what you've done over the years. And you can manage a small stuff, and you are prudent, you are accountable, you are accessible. They will call for you and say, please rule us again, we want you to rule us again. You saw when the Obedient movement came that time, everybody was just giving Obi their natural love. He didn't give anybody money. But he just said, okay, this man, let's even try him and see what will happen?
Okay, well, I'll plead with you to hold on because as much as we're having this discussion, it's also right we state that this very ruling seems to have far-reaching implications. And I want us to come to those implications of what this ruling will mean for ordinary Nigerians. And would it not also be ruling that will not just only affect the political elite, especially from those two major political parties, but will not also have far-reaching implication on all of us. And that's where I want us now to come. Let's look at the far-reaching implication of this. And one I want us to start is with the students sponsored overseas. Yes. We could still remember during the time of Kwankwaso in Kano, he had about almost 500 state citizens being sponsored overseas to also see how they can bring in their best into the country. And in every report, we also do know that the reason that extremism has not crippled into Kano State is that these persons were well educated. They came back to the shores of this country. Their education speaks volume. They are even presently working with the NNPP in Kano State, and the gains are there to see. Now let's talk about the far-reaching implication as it concerns students being sponsored on the ground of these political parties, being sponsored by governors and the rest. Will it not also come back to haunt us? Let's look at the implication, especially as it concerns students being sponsored on account of these politicians. It's, like I said initially, it's not good for our national image. Our international image, this is not a good one. Not even at this time, where the satellite of the world is on Nigeria. Okay. They want to see what we can do better, how we can do it better, and how we've been doing it. Okay. It's going to have a negative implication on every Nigerian, including myself. Okay. Because, for example, if you want to approach the Canada embassy now for visa,
They want to look at your political history. If you belong to any of these two parties, they'll tell you, sorry, we can't grant you a visa. And by application of that, let's say, for example, you have a sponsor. They will ask, okay, maybe your uncle is as a politician, is one sponsoring you to go. They will not say, this same sponsor you is a politician and they have been prescribed under the laws of Canada that you're sponsored by terrorists. Meaning you are going there also for terrorism. So this is not that we need to be proactive. We need to rewrite the Nigerian image in the global space. We need to make them understand that our politics is no longer on bitterness, but on fairness, equity, and people-oriented basis. Even for our sisters, it will affect them too. They won't travel. Our brothers, our siblings, it will affect them. And you know the bilateral relationship that Canada has with the US.
Yes.
Before you know it now, they'll meet in the International League of Nations. They will not sell the ideology to them and say, we are prescribed them based on this fact. Okay, well, how do you guys do it? Based on this fact we have. And US go through the facts. Okay, let's prescribe them as well.
Yeah, because they have bilateral agreements as it
and all of that. Because
criminal organizations.
If Canada flag you as a terrorist, US will also flag you. UK will flag.
Yes.
The rest of Europe will flag. And at the end of the day, this is not good for us. And now you're saying you want to come and do business and trade in Nigerian soil, and this is what is happening now. Now, an investor in Canada will not want to come and invest his money with the government of APC or the government of PDP. He will say, my country has warned us that these people are terrorist organizations. So going there to even invest now, as a foreigner, it's not advisable. So it is not good for our image at this time. Our politicians must understand they talk recklessly on the media space. Some of them, they play demigod over the people that you have sworn on oath to govern. This is it's abnormal. We see elections in different countries. You lose, you shake your weapon, you go. George Weah lost an election. He didn't go to court. But when it comes to the Nigerian contest, the minute you lose the election, you are in the media. You've called press, you start talking, start raising unnecessary attentions. You will not admit that you lost based on the fact that you are incompetent. You do not say, no, they vote me out because that man there is from the north. He doesn't like Christians. Now you are putting an ideology in a young generation that does not exist. And that's why before now, when I was going up there, we don't hear now northern man or southern man. I've never heard that. It's not hearing that say the north. Then we say Nigeria. I remember then my mom's dad gave his property to a mosque. He said they should use it for a mosque. There was mosque in our compound. He gave it now to the church too. There's a church in the other side of the compound. So then there was no there was no acrimony. Everybody was living. They come into our house, we go into their mosque. Everybody moved like that. But today the man from Kano will not see the man from South as his brother. Because why? Our politicians have the one caused it. They have given us a mindset that we not see them as threat. They not see us as threat. We see them coming to our side to do criminal job. We call them criminals, and not all of them are criminals. Some are genuinely engaging themselves, trying to make ends meet. Because it's difficult for them to find solace in their soil there. We have the IDP camps. What has the government done about IDP camps? Sending IDP back to their homes. You've not done that. Why wouldn't they prescribe you as a terrorist organization?
Okay, well, as much as you've talked about this far-reaching implication that will seem to really affect almost every sector of the country, we're talking about not just the economy, we're talking about even our public image. Yeah. Let's leave that and look at the reaction of the federal government thus far. Like I said, or like I stated earlier when I started in my introduction, I said the federal government reacted to that very ruling on Friday. And what they said was the federal government, or rather the Canadian government, should retract that very ruling. And when we do know that things are done through the court of law,
yes,
there's no way the Canadian government can retract that very story, knowing that it came from a court, and that the government cannot indeed indulge in legislative, in judicial issues. Now, but my question now is, that seems to be a very strong response from the federal government of Nigeria.
Very well.
What do you feel should be a quick way to fix this? Because we need to, like you said, if this lingers for too long, knowing the bilateral agreement that the Canadian government have with other well-developed climes, we most certainly will be affected. Because like you said, it will be a red flag in UK, it will that also pick up in France, in the United States of America has genuine understanding with the Canadian government, and we want to also do same. So let's look at it. What moves should the present government now do to indeed address this issue and address it quite quickly without looking as if it's more like fireworks?
For me, swiftly, our president needs to depart from Canada.
Will it amount to that?
Yes, because it's, you know, you must write your own story. Go in there with the fact and say, this was a misnomer, this judgment was not, we all cannot be a terrorist organization. I'm the head of the political party, the
but
APC.
Will it not look as if we are dancing to their tune?
No, it will look at that because, you see, not responding to them swiftly. We assume, they're just coming to make a statement on the national dailies, and you have your Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Yes, most
send delegations to the Canada. Meet them and discuss with them that everybody in the party cannot be a terrorist. If you have members among our party that you have identified that they are sponsoring terrorism or they are acting in accordance with your laws laid down in Canada, please identify them for us. We have a bilateral relationship with Interpol. We pick them and you do your investigation activities. And you are a member of Interpol. So if any of this is identify the persons for us, we'll make sure that we'll bring them handy for you. And that will not give them an assurance that, okay, truly, the entire PDP and entire APC is not a terrorist organization. But failure to do that, if this lingers on, you say God keep us alive, it will bring more implications to Nigeria that's not good.
But will it not be rubbing in on our sovereignty? Now, the reason I'm asking this is, will other government not also want to come up with court cases or for us to dance to their tune? Would it not be us now moving with the details of whatever the country is saying? Because like I said in my initial case, we learned that none of the political parties or representatives were called. And many feel, just like what the federal government feels yesterday, they felt it was just a way to get to the federal government. So would it not also be a reason other countries will now come up, and if they want to in every way want us to dance to their dictate, maybe we're not doing what they want economically, or they want something from us, they will just put up a red flag. And if we now send delegates there, it looks as if we'll now be dancing to their tune. So do you feel this is the right way to go? Would it not also be right that we raise up international lawyers that might take this case up against the government of Canada and see how they can also come to an agreement, rather than we dancing to their tune and making us look as if we are the receiving end?
Well, I wouldn't say we're dancing to their tune.
But would that not sound?
First and foremost, a former political party.
The Canadian government sent representative to Nigeria to look at the books before giving that judgment from the Canadian federal court?
They have their diplomats in the Nigerian soil that some are even investigating what is going on in Nigeria. Like I told you some time ago, the U.S. military came to Nigeria to rescue that citizen that was kidnapped in Niger State.
Yes.
Now this will tell you that these people, they are in Nigeria. They have diplomats all over. They see, they hear, and they know what happens in the Nigerian soil. It's now left for us as a government and the people. President Tinubu would bring delegation from the PDP. Someone like Goodluck Jonathan that's from the PDP can be brought in.
That's a peace ambassador.
There's a peace ambassador that can be brought in, and he will tell them that when I lost election, you saw there was no bloodshed. I told my people, rather than one civilian dying for my sake, let's.
So why did the Canadian government not look at such remarks coming from a notable Nigerian before going ahead with such rulings?
They've checked the record from 1990 date, and they've seen the gruesome killings. And the proaction of the government, nothing has been done in that regard. So you see, they are intelligent people. The case went on, and mind you, a Nigerian was the one that went to seek asylum.
Most certainly.
If he hadn't gone to seek asylum and did not check his, and he turned out all his support, they said, you belong to this party, you left this one to this other, you left PDP to APC. And they check his record. Why you looking for asylum in our country? If you had fixed your country while you were in the political party, you wouldn't have done this. Some years ago, people were coming to University of the Teaching Hospital in Ibadan to go and teach children from Saudi Arabia. So we must go back to the drawing board. Where and how have we gotten it wrong as a country? They fix it because, like you said, won't it affect our sovereignty? No. He who goes borrowing goes soaring. We are sovereign nation. Yes, we have a territory, we have a population, we have a people, we have a strength of military might and all of that. But how well are we equipped? Every day I keep praying and say, God, don't allow what to happen with Nigeria and that country. Because with the insurgency we have now, we'll not be able to even deal with them. You see local government ending treaties with bandits in the north. Any treaties with them, say, okay, we'll go to farm. When we farm, we'll give you 40%, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. And they are okay with it. And you have a sovereign government who has not displayed the sovereignty for the people. Sovereignty is your strength. It's your constitutional framework to say, okay, this is why you are a country. You have a boundary, you have a territory, you have a people, you have a population, all of that. But we've not displayed that. If not, if we have built Nigeria to the point where we're self-sufficient, then who side? If you want to give us a show, we also give you a show as well. If you say, okay, we'll declare also your political party there as terrorist organization as well.
But would that not be the best way to go? To bring them back on board and us looking at the table?
Who needs you more? We need them more, Mr. Ray. Nigerians, the Canadian, even the Canadian government are very fair to Nigerians. I know a lot of my friends that they were giving visas, they are living well in Canada with their families. They've been so nice to us when it comes to visa interviews. So this will also tell the politicians that the world is watching. If they will come, your family and yourself cannot even travel to abroad. They will tell people that you cannot come to our country. With the own money you have, finish it in your country. And what gives them this pleasure is because they can travel there to spend the money. Because they know if their children were schooling here, they will do all of this they are doing. If their wife gives birth in our hospitals here, they'll make it the best of it. But because they know tomorrow you can go to Canada and become a Canadian citizen by virtue of birth, then they don't side. I don't care though. Add the zeros, make it 1 billion, make it 2 billion.
So, Comrade Kevin Ojomodo, are you saying this is a blessing in disguise?
Yes, it is.
But anyway, it's a sad blessing.
It's a sad blessing, but it will help us to also rewrite our story. You know, when you write your story with integrity and respect, the world will applaud you. Look at Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She was a member of PDP at that time. See that doing well in WTO. For the first time, they say, come back and continue. These are people that we must begin to make the world see us that we are people that we have a strong willpower. We don't practice, you know, the idea of terrorism. We don't practice it. We have love for humanity. We have love for fundamental people, but they are seeing us. Court orders are not being obeyed in Nigeria. I say you're a terrorist group. It's only a terror that does not obey a court order. It's only a terror that does not follow fundamental human rights. It's only a terror that will say, okay, because I'm the governor, you don't have to say arrest him. Take him to court. Don't come him to court. Let him remain in detention for 6 years, for 10 years. How do you want the man in the entire community to look at you? You are playing God. So we must, as a people, sit in the round table. We must go back to that political confab of 2014. Good luck to that confab. Let us put those issues there. And let's come together as a people to say, come, live, try. If an Ishekiri man will make the Nigeria better, let him do it for us. Let's support him. If an Hausa man, a Fulani man, even a Fulani man can make Nigeria better for us, let's rally around him and give him support that he needs. And fix the country for us. Not saying because he's a Muslim, like say Muslim ticket, that started giving propaganda. Well, Muslim ticket, hey, they'll turn Nigeria finally to a Muslim country. Have they turned Nigeria to a Muslim country today? So that time they were carrying rumor that Buhari is Jibril. When he died, did they see the burial? Did they see where they buried him? We keep carrying narrative, propaganda narrative that does not befit our people. When Buhari finally died, now they buried him. We saw everything. Everybody was dead. They saw when they laid him to rest. But before now, they were carrying rumors. Say, look at this here. This one is Jibril from.
Let's leave Sudan and still be in Nigeria and in the studio. And I really want us to critically look at this. Now, you've given us your own view of what needs to be done. Yes. But on a final note, because time is not a friend on the show, we're really out of time. And I really need to also say this, that very soon, this very lovely program and also the station will be having your say. It will come pretty soon. And subsequently, we'll also give you out, or rather give out numbers for you people to call and get your reactions on all we'll be talking about. Could just be not just that on dialogue, but also on our paper review and others. And but you can also do that as it stands. You could go to our different social media platform. They'll be with you shortly on the screen. So you can also send your reactions as it concerns the discussion we're having today. And remember, you can also join us on all our social media platforms and AVO and see how you can also be a part of this lovely discussion and also a lovely dialogue on Viewpoint. And that will definitely be what we'll love to get soon. And be rest assured when that starts, your reaction will also count. Because on Viewpoint and on dialogue, your reactions always matters. But anyway, like I said, that's what we had today on the show. We talked about the issue of the Canadian ruling designating two major political parties as a terrorist organization, and the fireworks are seen to be, just I said on the program a short while ago, that on Friday the federal government came out to indeed criticize that very ruling and said it was a ruling in error, and it feels that the Canadian authorities should do more to see how they can really retract that very ruling and not put the two major political parties as terrorist organizations. But anyway, I know my PD is already giving me the sign. We need to go. But before we go, we need to truly thank no other but Comrade Kevin Ojomodo for adding his voice to it. And mind you, talking out of passion and a whole lot of pain. But anyway, the issues still remain. The best way we can, like you said, approach this to see if we can use the diplomatic channel. But all the same, Comrade Kevin Ojomodo, thank you for your time with us.
My pleasure.
How really busy you are. But you took your time to also help us to address this issue. And we really appreciate you on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your
Most
time.
grateful. Thank you, viewers.
Well, anyway, that's a wrap today on Dialogue, but still remember that still more will come. You do know the news will be on the hour, and most certainly a lot seems to be happening. Don't forget, as a day 2 of the 4th coronation anniversary of the great king himself, and we're talking about no other person but the Ogiame Tuashe III, CFR, definitely will be hooking up pretty soon to join them as we do a whole lot of commissioning, and that will definitely come. But for now, let's quickly go on a break. And definitely, you know, the Viewpoint is still on Atlantic TV.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Congratulations, you're seen the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Mommy Dama, Daddy Dama. This is how we greet in our place. It is a way of respect, a long age tradition, carried through generations like sacred fire. Our coronation celebration is around the corner, so close, we can feel the drum beats in the wind, and there is no more time to keep checking time. So the sons and daughters of Iwere, both at home and in diaspora, come forth, put on the full regalia, adore yourself in pride, and walk in the step of our ancestors. Let us observe a longish culture together, so deep, so bright, that even whitest could not help but reverence. Enedidioka, then Barajo. Do not say we did not know, we did not hear, neither were we informed. Put aside the grieving, because no matter what, we are same. Same history, same tongues, that cannot be taken away, except that door's path. Ishekiri and Kuro, our monarch awaits us.
In the glorious land of Warri Kingdom, history meets heritage and tradition embraces transformation. Join us in celebrating the 4th coronation anniversary of His Majesty Ogiame Atuashe III, CFR, the Olu of Warri, from Monday 18th of August to Sunday 24th of August 2025. Day 1 kicks off with praise and worship at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri by 12 noon. Day 2 features hospital commissioning at Ubangwe, Warri, 10 a.m. Ishekiri language competition for children at Agofen, Warri, 12 noon. Women's football match, 4 p.m. All-Stars football match at the Palace Field, 4:30 p.m. Day 3, a royal boat ride to Ode Ishekiri, 10 a.m. Homage paying at Big Warri Palace, 12 noon. His Majesty departs Big Warri, 3 p.m. Day 4, the anniversary celebration and homage paying at Agofen, Warri by 11 a.m. Day 5 brings book launch, 10:30 a.m. More homage paying at Agofen, 11:30 a.m. Drama presentations at Agofen, Warri, 4:30 p.m. Day 6 features the Royal Order of Iwere Awards, 10 a.m. Special lecture at Agofen, 11 a.m. Youth activities, 12:30 p.m. Royal Choir performance, 5 p.m. Day 7, the celebration concludes with a heartfelt Thanksgiving service at 10 a.m. at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri. Join us as we honor 4 impactful years of visionary leadership. Brought to you by Uge Oyo Ekoro TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Tikado! Tikado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. Ruth Gender Foundation.
I'm Ruth Edema Collins. I hold a first degree in physics electronics, a postgraduate qualification in business administration, and a nationally certified French language tutor. Career-wise, I'm an educational facilitator. I'm the managing director at Atlantic Media and TV, and I'm also a director at Vocotech Integrated Services Nigeria Limited. I'm a wife and a mother, and I like dressing up to show up. Yeah, so that's basically me. Thank you. Root Gender Foundation was inspired from my personal experiences growing up as a young girl in a typical Nigerian environment. For me, it was being different. It made people bully me, abuse me, and harass me. I was always misunderstood and underrated. Root Gender is a foundation that is dedicated to building confidence in the Nigerian girl child through educational and inspirational programs, like supporting programs that promote girl child education. We also organize physical exercises for our young girls for the overall well-being of their mental and physical states, and also for the acquisition of self-defense skills. We also sensitize girls on laws that protect them in our constitution. A lot of girls do not know that they have rights, that there are laws that protect their interests in Nigeria. Hence, they are vulnerable, they are living in fear, which is stopping them from reaching their full potentials. So we sensitize them on the laws that protect their interests. This, like I said, is visioned towards building confidence in the Nigerian girl child. So that is just a wrap up of what we do at Root Gender Foundation. I would say I resonate with the struggles and the challenges of the girl child, particularly the Warri girl child. I happen to grow up in the heart of Warri. From an average background. My family is an average one, but I experienced a lot. Like I said, I was bullied, I was overlooked, I was harassed for being a different child, for daring to be different, and nobody was taking note and tapping into my potentials. So my interest for the girl child is I would love to be a voice for the girl child. They need people to believe in them. They need people to speak for them. I also want the Warri girl child to know that there is hope beyond the reef. I want them to see the bigger picture. I want them to know that they can compete on global platforms. They can compete on international platforms, and they can do very well. We have the likes of Ada Gold, or Maumi, and the rest of them. They are all competing very well on international platforms, and I know that you too can do that, and I want you to know that is why we are here. Root Gender Foundation is here to make you understand that you can actually be what you want to be. As part of our objectives at Root Gender Foundation, we are dedicated to promoting girl child education. Like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. I represent the brand the African Girl Child, because I have gone through the struggles from there to here. So giving 2 million to the best female participants is just a way to share them on. It's just a way to make them know that we believe in you. I believe in you. You can look up to us. We are sharing you on. It is not about the money. We believe in your potential. We want our girls to know that you are doing the right thing at the right time. You are in the right place, and this is what you should be doing. That's why we are supporting you, and we will always be here to support you. Girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect our girl child. You know, my NGO, we've been pursuing a bill that we will see to be passed. We are asking that our girls should be allowed to carry pepper spray as weapons of self-defense. Because if you look at it, our women have nothing to protect themselves. They are just there by the grace of God. So we are pursuing laws that will protect the girl child. So empowerment, girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect the girl child, educating the girl child on time and money management, financial literacy, and equipping them with self-defense skills. Also, access to quality education. This to me is girl child empowerment and nothing more. A girl child must possess effective communication skills. They should be able to communicate effectively. A girl child should be financially literate. She should know how to manage her finances, and she should also know how to manage her time. Yes. Also, most importantly, another skill is self-awareness. It's important for our girls to know who they are, to believe in themselves. That's the vision of our NGO, building confident girls that can achieve their full potentials in Nigeria. That is our NGO's vision. So yeah, those are some of the skills I believe that the girl child should possess. She needs role models. She needs people that have led that path and have made it. Our young girls need role models. That's why we have to do better. We have to do the work. We have to bridge the gap. We have to share them on like we are doing. You can achieve your dreams. First, you have to make education your best friend. Every effort you put into learning will always be there for you, to never fail you. Boys will break your heart, people will break your heart, but every effort you put towards learning anything, everything will always come through for you. So for you to achieve your dreams, look towards the right people, look towards the right direction. There are people that have achieved in that route. I will encourage you to look up to them, learn from them. That is just the way to achieve your dreams. My message to the Warri Child, like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. We are letting the world know that we are not vile, we are not roused, we are educated, we compete intellectually, we have good things ahead of us. We can do it on the global platform, we can do it on the national platform, and we are everything there is to be a woman. I would encourage you, Warri Girl Child, make education your best friend. Make education your best friend. Learn new things. Learn new languages. Okay? And the sky will be your starting point. We are always here to share you up. Don't forget that my name is Ruth Edema Collins from Root Gender Foundation, and from all of us wishing you the best, we say keep watching Atlantic TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation.
For God sought man to incarnate and to lead his people, and he found none but thee, the one who understands the assignment. To the extent the dexterity you deploy to administer the territory attracted principalities and powers, yet you warned by Isaiah 7:7. The traditional king that forfeit godly scriptures. Your ways are not the ways of man, even as you exist as man. The one who takes giant steps in David's raiment. You are the clear proof we had first-hand connection with civilization. Daddy with maximum steez and composure. We do not need to pat your back and scoop your tummy before you do us good. Because truly you have now made goodness our inheritance. And everybody give thanks. You may have been ignored, left alone to tend the flocks. But I tell you truth, it was God's strategy for you to cater for his flocks. Oh, how did we not know at first that a change will seek and desire lurks around us like a friend that sticks closer than a brother. He who resonates history before our face, giving us the hope of a prosperous phase. It is time. 4 years crowned in glory, 4 years seed in destiny. Ogiame, King of the waters, it is your 4th year coronation anniversary, and everybody is Ogboru.
In the glorious land of Warri Kingdom, history meets heritage and tradition embraces transformation. Join us in celebrating the 4th coronation anniversary of His Majesty Ogiame Atuashe III, CFR, the Olu of Warri, from Monday 18th of August to Sunday 24th of August 2025. Day 1 kicks off with praise and worship at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri by 12 noon. Day 2 features hospital commissioning at Ubangwe, Warri, 10 a.m. Ishekiri language competition for children at Agofen, Warri, 12 noon. Women's football match, 4 p.m. All-Stars football match at the Palace Field, 4:30 p.m. Day 3, a royal boat ride to Ode Ishekiri, 10 a.m. Homage paying at Big Warri Palace, 12 noon. His Majesty departs Big Warri, 3 p.m. Day 4, the anniversary celebration and homage paying at Agofen, Warri by 11 a.m. Day 5 brings book launch, 10:30 a.m. More homage paying at Agofen, 11:30 a.m. Drama presentations at Agofen, Warri, 4:30 p.m. Day 6 features the Royal Order of Iwere Awards, 10 a.m. Special lecture at Agofen, 11 a.m. Youth activities, 12:30 p.m. Royal Choir performance, 5 p.m. Day 7, the celebration concludes with a heartfelt Thanksgiving service at 10 a.m. at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri. Join us as we honor 4 impactful years of visionary leadership. Brought to you by Uge Oyo Ekoro TV.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife Niger celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
As you know, you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. When the lights go out, who do you call? Tikado! Tikado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst, one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Ìyára lóríire, olóríire àfọ̀másí, olúrọ̀mí o, ọba mi òkè. Ìyára lóríire, olóríire àfọ̀másí.
Ìyára lóríire, olóríire àfọ̀másí, olúrọ̀mí o, ọwẹ́ náà ògì.
Mommy Dama, Daddy Dama. This is how we greet in our place. It is a way of respect, a long-age tradition, carried through generations like sacred fire. Our coronation celebration is around the corner, so close, we can feel the drum beats in the wind, and there is no more time to keep checking time. So the sons and daughters of Iwere, both at home and in diaspora, comfort, put on the full regalia, adore yourself in pride, and walk in the step of our ancestors. Let us observe a longish culture together, so deep, so bright, that even white heads could not help but reverence. And I did the oka, then Barajo, Do not say we did not know, we did not hear, neither were we informed. Put aside the grieving, because no matter what, we are same. Same history, same tongues that cannot be taken away, except that door's path. Ishekiri and Kuro, our monarch awaits us.
Hello and welcome to your daily news roundup right here on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejere. Here are our top stories. Praise, unity and celebration as Olu of Warri's 4th coronation anniversary continues. Debate rages as federal government mulls politicians' pay increase. Tinubu arrives in Japan for TCAD 9 summit. Food price hikes undermine inflation drop, says CPPE. U.S. demands 5-year social media history for Nigerian visa applicants. Leeds mark Premier League return with narrow win over Everton. Now to the news in full. It is celebration galore in Warri as the Shekiri Nation marks the 4th coronation anniversary of His Majesty Ogiame Atuwashi III, CFR, the Olu of Warri. The anniversary festivities kicked off yesterday with a praise day where indigents of Warri gathered in unity to thank God for His goodness upon the kingdom. The atmosphere was filled with reverence, gratitude, and joy as the people lifted songs of thanksgiving to celebrate their revered monarch. The session highlighted the spiritual foundation of the celebrations, acknowledging God's grace and blessings upon the throne of Warri Kingdom. Meanwhile, activities for Day 2 of the anniversary are lined up with exciting events. At 10 a.m., the Olu of Warri will commission a hospital in Ubwangwe. By noon, children will participate in the Shekiri language competition at the Palace Auditorium. The celebration continues with a women's novelty football match at 4 p.m., followed by the much-anticipated All-Stars novelty match at the Olu Palace Field by 4:30 p.m. All activities are part of the week-long celebrations in honor of the Olu of Warri, Ogiame Atuwashi III. The federal government may soon review the salaries of political office holders. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, says the current pay structure is outdated and no longer reflects present economic realities. At a press briefing in Abuja, RMAFC Chairman Mohammed Shehu revealed that President Bola Tinubu currently earns 1.5 million naira monthly, while ministers receive less than 1 million naira. Figures that have remained unchanged since 2008. He described the earnings as inadequate and unrealistic, given the weight of responsibilities on public officials. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission says salaries of political office holders may soon be reviewed, describing current earnings as outdated and unrealistic. However, the Nigerian Labour Congress has rejected the proposal, arguing that the move ignores Nigeria's widening inequality and the hidden allowances already available to politicians. The union insists government should instead focus on workers' welfare and the high cost of living confronting ordinary Nigerians. The RMAFC chairman clarified that the commission is not responsible for setting the minimum wage of civil servants, but is constitutionally mandated to fix the pay of political, judicial, and legislative office holders. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has arrived in Tokyo, Japan, to attend the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TCAD 9, taking place from August 20th to 22nd. The president's aircraft landed at Haneda International Airport at 12:50 a.m. local time, where he was received by senior Japanese officials, Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, and staff of the Nigerian Embassy. TCAD, launched by the Japanese government in partnership with the UN, AU, and World Bank, is a triennial forum on Africa's development. This year's edition, themed Co-Create Innovative Solutions with Africa, will spotlight economic transformation, institutional reforms, and private sector investment for a sustainable African future. President Tinubu is expected to hold bilateral meetings with Japanese leaders and engage business executives of firms already operating in Nigeria. The presidency says the visit aims to deepen trade, strengthen partnerships, and attract new investments to boost Nigeria's economy. The summit, hosted at Pacifico, Yokohama, is expected to attract leaders from across Africa, development partners, and global stakeholders. You're watching the Daily News Roundup on Atlantic TV. We'll go on a short break. When we return, more news stories to come. Welcome back. A chieftain of the new Nigerian People's Party, Buba Galadima, has accused the federal government of planning to rig the 2027 general elections. Speaking on a TV program, Galadima alleged that the government is already using intimidation tactics by pressuring governors to defect to the ruling party or risk losing power. He claimed these actions reveal the administration's true intentions ahead of the polls. Galadima also criticized the Independent National Electoral Commission over the conduct of recent by-elections in 13 states, describing them as illegal. He said INEC violated its constitutional duty by delaying polls, some of which were held nearly 2 years after the seats became vacant. The NNPP stalwart further lamented that Nigerian politics is dominated by opportunists, stressing that despite decades of struggle, he has never held an elective office because he refuses to play along with the system. He vowed that the NNPP will resist any attempt to manipulate the 2027 elections. The federal government and INEC are yet to respond to Galadima's allegations. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says more than 69,000 Nigerians completed their online pre-registration within just 7 hours of reopening its continuous voter registration exercise. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, disclosed this in a statement on Monday in Abuja. He explained that the registration portal, which went live at 8:30 a.m., had already recorded 69,376 entries by 3:30 p.m. the same day. According to the breakdown, 33,803 registrants are male, while 35,573 are female. Young people between the ages of 18 and 34 make up the largest group with 48,033. Representing over 69% of the total. The online platform is available 24 hours daily, providing citizens with easier access to begin their registration. The Commission says the high response within hours shows growing interest among Nigerians, especially the youths, to participate in future elections. It is urging eligible citizens who are yet to register to take advantage of the online process. INEC maintains that the continuous voter registration is key to strengthening Nigeria's democracy ahead of the next general elections. We'll go for another short break, more news stories when we return. Welcome back. Now to some business stories. The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE, has warned that persistent food price hikes continues to undermine Nigeria's fight against inflation, despite recent reports of a slight decline in the headline rate. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, headline inflation eased for the fourth consecutive month, dropping from 22.22% in June to 21.88% in July. Month-on-month food inflation also moderated slightly, while core inflation recorded marginal declines. Director of CPPE, Dr. Muda Yusuf, attributed the moderation to exchange rate stability, improved investor confidence, and government waivers on import duties for staple foods such as rice, maize, and sorghum. He, however, cautioned that food prices remain stubbornly high due to structural challenges, including high logistics costs, insecurity, climate risks, and port inefficiencies. Yusuf stressed that while progress has been made, the persistence of food and month-on-month price increases reveals deeper economic vulnerabilities. He urged governments to sustain reforms, enforce fiscal discipline, and innovate beyond conventional monetary tightening tools to consolidate the modest gains. The CPPE insists that only a coordinated mix of fiscal, monetary, and structural reforms will secure lasting economic stability for Nigeria. The Nigerian Guild of Editors has raised concerns over the state of the economy, worsening insecurity, and the steady decline in education, calling on governments at all levels to take urgent action. The editors made their position known after a standing committee meeting held in Owerri, Imo State. In a communique signed by the Guild's president, Eze Anaba, and General Secretary Onoha Uke, they lamented rising inflation, unemployment, and poverty fueled by high exchange rates and the soaring cost of petroleum products. The Guild urged the federal government to strengthen social safety nets and adopt a holistic approach to insecurity through intelligence gathering, community policing, and broader stakeholders' collaboration. Editors warned that criminal headers, insurgents, and rampant banditry are crippling agriculture, threatening food security. They also decried the poor state of education, urging governments to meet the UN's benchmark of allocating at least 26% of their budget to the sector. On press freedom, the editors condemned rising hostility against journalists and media houses, stressing that any attempt to intimidate or suppress the media undermines democracy and limits citizens' access to information. The Guild insists that strengthening the economy, improving security, and revamping education are protecting press freedom and are urgent priorities if Nigeria is to avert a deeper national crisis. The much anticipated nationwide fuel distribution by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery with 4,000 compressed natural gas-powered trucks has suffered a setback. Only 450 of the trucks ordered from China have arrived due to shipping constraints. The $20 billion refinery had earlier announced plans to commence direct fuel distribution with 4,000 CNG-powered trucks. But as of Friday, only 200 arrived in the first batch, 250 in the second, while another 150 are expected next week, bringing the total to just 600 out of the required 4,000. A senior executive of the Dangote Group confirmed that the shortage of vessels sailing from China caused the delay, explaining that 60 shiploads are still expected over the next 6 weeks. The officials stressed that with just about 11% of the trucks available, the scheme's August 15th target may witness some adjustments. Dangote had in June announced a 720 billion naira investment in the deployment of these trucks. The initiative, projected to save Nigerians over 1.7 trillion naira annually in fuel distribution costs, is also expected to benefit more than 42 million small and medium businesses, reduce logistics expenses, and boost economic growth. The company insists the plan is still on course, describing the scheme as a strategic move to cut costs, ease inflationary pressure, and promote environmental stability across the country. Away from business now, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has directed all public universities in Nigeria to conclude their 2025 admission processes by October 31st. According to JAMB's weekly bulletin released on Monday, private universities are to complete admissions by November 30th, while all tertiary institutions, both public and private, must wrap up by December 31st. The board explained that the directive approved during the 2025 policy meeting chaired by the Minister of Education is aimed at stabilizing the academic calendar and ensuring equitable access to admission slots across all institutions. JAMB further urged institutions to conduct and archive admissions ahead of time, even if the new academic session is yet to commence. It also mandated universities conducting post-UTME screenings to conclude promptly in line with the 2025 admission schedule. You're watching the Daily News Roundup right here on Atlantic TV. We'll go for yet another short break. More news stories when we return.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
For God sought man to incarnate and to lead his people, and he found none but thee, the one who understands the assignment. To the extent the dexterity you deploy to administer the territory attracted principalities and powers, yet you warned by Isaiah 7:7. The traditional king that forfeit godly scriptures Your ways are not the ways of man, even as you exist as man. The one who takes giant steps in David's raiment. You are the clear proof we had first-hand connection with civilization. Daddy with maximum steez and composure. We do not need to pat your back and scoop your tummy before you do us good. Because truly you have now made goodness our inheritance. And everybody give thanks. You may have been ignored, left alone to tend the flocks. But I tell you the truth. It was God's strategy for you to cater for his flocks. Oh, how did we not know at first that a change was seek and desire? Looks around us like a friend that seeks closer than a brother. He who resonates history before our face, giving us the hope of a prosperous phase. It is time. 4 years crowned in glory, 4 years seed in destiny. Ogiame, King of the waters. It is your 4th-year coronation anniversary, and everybody is Ogboru.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Tikado! Tikado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Welcome back. Now to some international stories. The United States mission in Nigeria has introduced new requirements for visa applicants. From now on, Nigerians seeking U.S. visas must provide a record of their social media activity over the last 5 years. In a statement posted on its official X handle, the U.S. mission explained that applicants are now required to list all usernames and handles they have used across various social media platforms during that period. The directive, officials say, is part of Washington's enhanced security screening measures. The mission warned that failing to disclose this information could result in visa denial and even future ineligibility. On the DS-160 visa application form, applicants must certify that every detail provided is true before submission. The U.S. Department of State says the measure is aimed at safeguarding national security by improving background checks. While some Nigerians may see it as an additional hurdle, authorities insist it is necessary to ensure transparency and strengthen global security systems. With the new directive, Nigerian visa hopefuls will now have to dig through their digital footprints as their social media history officially becomes part of America's screening processes. The United States mission in Nigeria has commended the federal government and its security forces for the successful arrest of 2 wanted leaders of the terrorist group Ansaru. National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu confirmed that the arrests were made during a high-risk intelligence-led counter-terrorism operation carried out between May and July 2025. Ribadu explained that the group's leader, Mahmoud Mohammed Usman, also known as the self-styled Emir of Ansaru, coordinated several terrorist sleeper cells across Nigeria. He also was linked to high-profile kidnappings and armed robberies that financed the group's operations. His deputy, Mahmoud al-Nigeri, reportedly led the Mahmoudawa cell around Kainji National Park, operating across Niger, Kwara and parts of the Benin Republic. In a statement posted on its official X handle, the U.S. Embassy hailed the arrest as a major step in Nigeria's fight against terrorism, describing the operation as a significant win in regional security. The United States further reaffirmed its commitment to support Nigeria in tackling violent extremism and strengthening national security. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced plans to spearhead what he calls a movement against mail-in voting ahead of next year's midterm elections. Trump, who has long criticized postal ballots despite personally benefiting from them in the past, said he will sign an executive order to eliminate the system. He insists the move will restore honesty to the U.S. electoral process. In a post on his Truth Social platform, the president described mail-in ballots as inaccurate, expensive, and controversial. Nearly a third of Americans voted by mail in 2024, and 18 states still allow ballots postmarked by Election Day to be counted. However, watchdog groups warn the move could disenfranchise millions, especially voters with disabilities. Experts also stress there is no evidence mail-in voting is less secure than in-person methods. Trump has repeatedly spread misinformation about postal voting since his 2020 defeat to Joe Biden. At a recent press event, he falsely claimed America is the only country that uses the method and even cited Russian President Vladimir Putin as agreeing with him. With the 2026 midterms drawing closer, Trump's renewed push against mail-in ballots has raised fresh debate about election integrity and voter access in the United States. Away from that to some sporting stories. Leeds United made a winning return to the Premier League on Monday night with a narrow 1-0 victory over Everton at Elland Road. The winner came late in the game from the penalty spot. The breakthrough arrived when James Tarkowski was controversially penalized for handball after blocking Anton Stark's shot. Substitute Lucas Mencha, marking his Leeds debut, converted the spot kick just 6 minutes after coming on. The goal sent the home fans into wild celebrations. Leeds had dominated much of the first half with 12 attempts, but only tested Jordan Pickford once. Everton improved after the introduction of Jack Grealish on loan from Manchester City, but failed to capitalize. Leeds goalkeeper Lucas Perry pulled off a fine save from Carlos Alcaraz to preserve the lead. Manager Daniel Farke will be relieved with the result, given his past struggles in the Premier League with Norwich. Having stormed to the championship title last season with 100 points, Leeds are now hoping to buck the trend of newly promoted sides being immediately relegated. Leeds start their top-flight campaign with momentum, while Everton are left to reflect on a frustrating evening. Still on sports, Inter Milan have officially pulled out of the race to sign Super Eagles forward Ademola Lookman after transfer talks with Atalanta collapsed. According to transfer expert Fabrizio Romano, Inter executives are set to meet Lookman's representatives within the next 24 hours to formally communicate the club's decision. The development ends weeks of speculation over the Nigerian international's possible switch to the San Siro. Talks had stalled for nearly 2 weeks, with Atalanta refusing to reduce their valuation of the 26-year-old forward. Despite Inter's optimism, no breakthrough was achieved. The Serie A champions insist the collapse of negotiations had nothing to do with Roma's Nikola Zalewski, whose move to Atalanta was wrongly linked to Lookman's situation. Lookman, who joined Atalanta from RB Leipzig in 2022, has been one of the club's standout performers, scoring crucial goals in both Serie A and European competitions. He also impressed at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, netting 3 times as Nigeria reached the final. Inter will now turn their focus to alternative attacking options before the transfer window closes. Ademola Lookman remains an integral part of Atalanta's plans, while Inter Milan search elsewhere to bolster their squad. And with that sports news, we come to the end of the Daily News Roundup for today, right here on Atlantic TV. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a good day.
Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
In the glorious land of Warri Kingdom, history meets heritage and tradition embraces transformation. Join us in celebrating the 4th coronation anniversary of His Majesty Ogiame Atuashe III, CFR, the Olu of Warri, from Monday 18th of August to Sunday 24th of August 2025. Day 1 kicks off with praise and worship at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri by 12 noon. Day 2 features hospital commissioning at Ubangwe, Warri, 10 a.m. Ishekiri language competition for children at Agofen, Warri, 12 noon. Women's football match, 4 p.m. All-Stars football match at the Palace Field, 4:30 p.m. Day 3, a royal boat ride to Ode Ishekiri, 10 a.m. Homage paying at Big Warri Palace, 12 noon. His Majesty departs Big Warri, 3 p.m. Day 4, the anniversary celebration and homage paying at Agofen, Warri by 11 a.m. Day 5 brings book launch, 10:30 a.m. More homage paying at Agofen, 11:30 a.m. Drama presentations at Agofen, Warri, 4:30 p.m. Day 6 features the Royal Order of Iwere Awards, 10 a.m. Special lecture at Agofen, 11 a.m. Youth activities, 12:30 p.m. Royal Choir performance, 5 p.m. Day 7, the celebration concludes with a heartfelt Thanksgiving service at 10 a.m. at the Palace Church, Agofen, Warri. Join us as we honor 4 impactful years of visionary leadership. Brought to you by Uge Oyo Ekoro TV.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys. Back again, yes, boss. My name is Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife, Niger celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
For God sought man to incarnate and to lead his people, and he found none but thee, the one who understands the assignment. To the extent the dexterity you deploy to administer the territory attracted principalities and powers, yet you warned by Isaiah 7:7. The traditional king that forfeit godly scriptures. Your ways are not the ways of man, even as we exist as man. The one who takes giant steps in David's raiment. You are the clear proof we had first-hand connection with civilization. Daddy with maximum steez and composure. We do not need to pat your back and scoop your tummy before you do us good. Because truly you have now made goodness our inheritance. And everybody give thanks. You may have been ignored, left alone to tend the flocks. But I tell you truth, it was God's strategy for you to cater for his flocks. Oh, how did we not know at first that a change will seek and desire? Looks around us like a friend that seeks closer than a brother. He who resonates history before our face, giving us the hope of a prosperous phase. It is time. 4 years crowned in glory. 4 years seed in destiny. Ogiame, King of the waters. It is your 4th year coronation anniversary. And everybody is Ogboru.
Hi everybody and welcome to Wawu Africa. This is the official launching and it's your host QJ and Shay. And we are so excited to be here, guys. This is a brand new app, girl, for women, Christocentric women.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. My expectations are through the roof. We have amazing guests here today. So stay tuned.
And we're gonna be back.
Yeah, we will be back.
opportunity and access. A movement that believes in the transformative power of women's economic empowerment. Our mission is simple, yet ambitious, to provide a safe, inclusive and supportive environment, a safe, inclusive space where women can learn, earn, collaborate and thrive, where they can showcase their skills, share their stories and sell their products
Every day I create, but no one sees me. Until now. Introducing Wow Africa. Learn, showcase, connect, earn. Now, the world sees my worth and pays for it. Wow Africa, where women rise.
Okay, so the inspiration behind Wow Africa, it stems from women being dealt the lower hand, if I may put it that way. Because in corporate worlds, we see that men always get the better pay, they always get better roles, and if there is a woman in a good position, it is assumed that she did something to get that position. So we're trying to change that narrative where we are saying, look, women are not just meant for the kitchen. Women need to earn more as well. Women need to be heard. Women need to be seen for what they can do, for their skills, not just as some sexual object or some sexual toy, because that is one of the things that has been, or the major thing that has been tied to when you say I'm a woman. That is one thing that people see first. So we're trying to change that narrative. We want women to be out there doing big things just like our male counterparts are doing, and not being dependent. We're trying to change that narrative of women are always so dependent on men. We want to be independent, not like we want to just do everything on our own, but we want to be able to stand as women in our various industries, as a lawyer, as a doctor, as an artisan, a content creator, whatever it is that you are. We want women to stand out there.
I think it's a beautiful and a fantastic phenomenal initiative that I think can metamorphose into things like skill acquisition for women, safe place for women training, etiquette for women, empowering women. We call it a man's world. I call it a gentleman's world, because the gentleman puts the woman first. Yes. And so I think this is a phenomenal idea. If everyone has a sister, mother, a daughter, one of them, sister, mother, a daughter. So it's high time we started investing in the women and make this world a better place, a safer place for them. I'm thinking of a WOW counseling, for WOW rehabilitation, for drug addiction for women. I think it's something that is really huge that will begin to make. There are too many layers on what to do to make the world safe and safer for women. And so I believe that this is the beginning of the best days of this thing we just launched today. And so hoping for more.
Why did you decide to support Wow Africa? What does it mean to you as a woman?
It means everything. I am a woman first, and personally, I am a strong advocate for the girl child and for women affairs. So anything women, supporting them, lifting them, you'll find me there. So, but as per this, my media outfits, we are very proud to give them the visibility that they need to reach their targets and where they wish to go, and give them every other support that they need to reach the women that we hope to reach. Women need to learn. It is a basic skill that they must have. They must learn, they must earn, they must grow, and they must learn to collaborate. That's why we are here. I have met some amazing women here. She leads Africa. She's here too. So it is amazing when women support each other. We attain amazing heights. So we cannot overlook the importance of collaborating with other people, other women like us. It is very, very, very important.
Yeah, Wow Africa is an app that supports women. So what are your views on it?
In fact, it's a great idea because it will help women to be able to showcase their businesses. They don't need to, like online businesses now, they can have a space to put in their businesses and make, sell their products easily now for export.
My expectations are really high. I've worked with the owner, the person in charge for a while, and I know he's a very brilliant mind, and he has ideas, and this is one of them which has come to fruition. So my expectations are really high. It's a platform to help women help women be empowered, help women earn, help women scale up. And that aligns with the value of She Leads Africa. That's why we're here partnering with them, encouraging them, and saying, we're here, we're hailing you, we're behind you. We pray and hope that you scale, right, and achieve all your dreams.
WOW Africa, where women rise.
So it has been an amazing experience, hasn't it? Oh my gosh, we have so many expectations from WOW Africa, and it has been great vibing with you guys. It's your host QJ and Chi.